Let's get this show on the road. Sculpt legs. So we're gonna see if we can sculpt legs so well that walking feels like a challenge without actually using any equipment at all, just our bodies. Of course, we do need to do a little bit of a warm-up, due diligence, warm up the muscle tissue in the legs. I might be adjusting this a little bit as we go. Trying to entertain some different camera angles so you can see different parts of the studio. So we'll start with a nice kickback. As always, with the kickback, try to angle your knees straight down to the ground. So you're getting a little lengthening through the quad muscles. And to charge the muscles with oxygen, make sure you're breathing just a little nice deeper inhales than before you got started. Good, pulling back just to open up through the chest and shoulders. And then switch to palms in front, and it's just that high kick, or as high as you need it to be, to feel a nice dynamic stretch all the way up the back of the legs, from the heel of your foot right up towards the tailbone, sit bones. So really flexing that foot on the kick. Good, still breathing deep and starting to pay attention to alignment and posture. So turning on those abdominal muscles for balance, stability. Good, one more kick. And then with feet together, we take a side lunge, bend the outside knee, and do just a gentle twist. Stand back, feet together, and pull up so high that you're tucking your tailbone under and really lifting the ribs off the pelvis. Other side when you're ready, keep alternating. So if you're really tight, you can take a little bit longer on the stretching part of it. And if what you need is just warming up, you can go a little bit faster from side to side. Go one more each way. It was a beautiful morning down at the park, not windy like Monday. Oh my goodness. Those Swiss balls were blowing into the bay on Monday. Okay, so next one, ankle over the knee, squat, and then switch. That ended up being the biggest part of the workout, was chasing after those runaway balls. Good. Each time trying to get a little bit lower into the squat, opening up through the muscles in the glutes. Good, opening up hip joint. One more on each side. And then standing in a lunge with one foot forward and one foot backward. Bring your arms up, tuck your tailbone under, square the hips. And then lower your back knee toward the floor, letting your arms swing through. So inhale, reach. So it's tuck and lower. Good, last 3, 2, and 1, and then switching to the other side. Inhale, the arms come up, tuck the tailbone under, lowering down. Good, last 3, 2, and 1 more. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to warm up the hips a little bit more deeply. So if you're standing with your feet together, we're going to cross. Actually, we'll add a little bit of a side step. So take a step to the side, and then the other leg crosses behind. Come down, curtsy squat. Step across, curtsy squat. So just low enough to feel that little stretch through the hips. Try to take a nice deep inhale as you're coming down. One of the cool things about the inhale is that it actually lengthens the spine. So that's one of the ways we can figure out where to breathe in an exercise, is like where you need the most, or where it's the trickiest to keep good posture. That's where you want to have your inhale. So here, it's tricky to stay upright as you're coming down. So if you add the inhale there, literally strengthens your posture. Okay, come back to center. And then we're gonna just alternate picking up one foot from behind. So 50% of people, it's too tight in the front of the leg to actually reach your foot, or it's just too tricky on the balance. So if you need to hold a wall, feel free. And if that wouldn't even help, then you can just hold the pelvic tilt and get that stretch through the front of the leg. We'll just do a couple more on each side here. You're kind of trying to push your hips forward, not lengthening, kicking the top of your foot into your hand if you're reaching there. Excellent. Okay, then for the calf stretch, we're just doing a really good leg stretch before we get started here. Hands to the floor, walk out to sort of a plank type position with your hips high. And then pedal the heels by pressing right and left down into the floor or into the ground. So you can even let your head relax here. Do a couple easy head turns right and left. Just letting gravity take a little traction on your neck. And then hold one heel down and switch. And switch again. Last time on the other side. Okay, and then walk your feet towards your hands towards your feet, arms with your ears, roll up slowly. And then when you get to the top, we're gonna do just an easy standing side bend, but accentuate pushing your hips out to the side with straight legs and body weight in your heels. So we're trying to get that stretch down the IT band and in the hip, other side. Good, one more each way. So really pushing the hips beyond the ankles. And last time on the other side. Okay, all the way up. Final stretch. We're just gonna do trunk rotation. Slowly circling the head, the shoulders, and the ribs around the hip bones, pelvis. Okay, two more in that same direction. Going a little extra slow, but still full range of motion in any tight spots. And then the other way. Circle. And last one. All the way up. Awesome. Okay, so we're actually going to start from standing and starting with the calf muscles. So if you can stand with your heels, your ankles at hip bone width apart, if you're not sure, you can just locate them with your thumbs. It's closer together than you think usually. All 10 toes straight ahead, and we're going to push the shoulders down, even flexing at the wrist to really accentuate the depression of the shoulders. Tuck your tailbone under. And then come up as high as you can on your tippy toes. And then back down and sit back and lift the toes. So it's almost like a little rocking motion. Up on the toes, back on the heels. Up on the toes, back on the heels. So we're kind of going contract the calves and then flex the shins. Up and down. Okay, a little bit faster because we're not holding like, 300-pound dumbbell or anything like that. We can actually go kind of fast to get some power. At the top, really pushing your hips all the way forward. And the entire time, trying to get the shoulders down lower and lower and lower and lower. Good, going for time here, another 10 seconds. Starting to feel a little burn maybe in the back of the calves. It doesn't take long for me for some reason. These muscles of mine, they're fine for a second and then they're not. Calf muscles feel like they're going to blow up really quickly. Okay, hold at the top. 5, 4, squeeze the ankles in, and then down. Okay, so turn the toes out. Your heels stay exactly where they are. Turn your toes out like penguin, like Charlie Chaplin, as much as you possibly can. Just make sure that your knees are still looking at your toenails. And then we're going to come up again from here. So This time the arms are going to be in front, still flexed. Squeeze your shoulder blades back. It's like you're trying to make your arms look shorter. And then up on the toes and down on the heels. On the toes. Still doing that rocking motion where you're lifting the toes in between. Good. Try to get as tall on your tippy toes as you can every time. So working different part of the calf muscle with the foot in this direction, more of the inside of the calf. Good. So there's some health benefits to these calf raises because of the lymphatic system. We're literally pumping that sort of body cleansing fluid through the body while we're doing this, but at the same time, and the most, the focus here, of course, is shaping, sculpting, name of the class, calves. One more here. Hold at the top. Squeeze, get a little higher on your toenails if you can. 3, 2, 1, and then down. Okay, relax the arms for just a second. So this one now, the toes turn in. This is kind of the weird one. But again, you're just turning them in. If your femurs don't internally rotate very much, then it might not look like it's this much, just whatever you can do. Heels are still just at hip width apart. Okay, and this time we're going to have the arms straight up. So tuck the tailbone under, lift up, down, lift the toes. So it's still that rocking motion, toes, heels, heels. Good, targeting a little bit more the outer part of the calf. Try to keep dropping your shoulders down your back so the arm bones look shorter. Right up on the toes, equal body weight on both feet. Trying to keep the crown of the head pulling back. We're also working a little balance here. Good, try not to let the heels turn in. This is the one most people get a little extra tight with this one. The leg bones start to turn back out to regular. So keep those toes turned in, heels out. 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top and squeeze up on the tippy toes. 5, 4, higher. 3, 2, 1, and down. Relax the arms. Shake out the legs. We'll do that calf stretch again, actually. So hands to the floor, and then press and switch. You're really trying to get the heel of the foot as close to the ground as you can. Right and left, right and left, right and left. Okay, take one foot forward. So we're going to start from a runner's lunge position. And we're going to jump, bypass some inner thighs, and go right up to the glutes for this one. Glutes, quads. The whole leg is actually really working. We're going to feel it mostly in the glutes. Back leg totally straight at the knee, so you lift that up high. Try to keep your hip just down at the level of the knee and the shin vertical, so knee right over the ankle, almost leaning back slightly. Lift the back leg off the floor, just a foot off the floor. Up, down. So you're trying not to lean very far forward. 9, 8. Kick into the front heel. 7, 6, 5. We're going to try the impossible in a second here. 4, 3, 2. On this last one, hold your leg up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Okay, shake it off. Oh my God, why is that so hard? Okay, other side. So, like I look at all the big dumbbells that we use in here and stuff like that, and then this is the one that's so tricky. It just seems so silly. All right, that's physics for you. Here we go, lift that back leg. So with every lift, you're trying to perfect a little bit more of the alignment so that there's less cheating and there's more focus in the working muscle. So the more you can resist leaning forward, the more you can resist bending your back knee. All of these things are tricky, but just do the best that you can. 3, 2, get ready to hold. 1, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, bring the leg in, shake it out. Okay, before we go back to that, because it would just be ridiculous to jump right back into a second set. We're going to come down on our side, And see if we can fire up the inner thigh. So I'll just turn towards you here. So from lying on your side, elbow under your shoulder, bottom leg extended straight. See if you can place the sole of your top foot on your thigh, above the knee. So your hips have to be sort of open to get into this position. So if this isn't going to work for you, just have your foot as high up on the leg as you can. And then we're going to flex the bottom foot, lift the bottom leg as high as you can without moving your upper body. For 9, well 10 in total, but we've done a couple already. 7, 6, because they all count, and we're not really going to miscount and do extras because that would be crazy. 5, 4, 3. I only lose count when other people are doing the exercise. 1. Okay, switch legs. Turn around the other way. As you would probably discover if you came to one of the classes, there's actually a thing now called hypo time, apparently, which is longer than regular time. Okay, lift and lower. And this is where, on this one too, you might discover if one side is a little easier than the other side. 6, 5, 4, as high as you can every time. 3, 2, 1. Okay, turn back over onto your hands and feet. Second set of the lunges. Hopefully your legs feel just a little bit more refreshed. Runner's lunge to start. Here we go. Lift. 10, 9, 8, 7. Emphasize kicking down into the heel of the front leg and then squeezing the back glute to float the leg bone up. 4, 3, 2, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ugh. Switch. Woo. All right, here it goes. Kick into that front heel. Squeeze the back glute. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So it's more of a lift than it is a kick. Try not to kick up. Try just to step into the front heel and float the back leg and foot off the ground. 4, 3, 2, hold at the top. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ugh. All the way down onto your side. Second set, elbow under the shoulder. And the top knee, foot on the bottom thigh. And then lifting for 10. All right, so even those lower abdominals are working hard here. Make sure you're pulling the belly button in towards your lower back as the legs go up. You really want to draw everything in and up. So when you're lifting the leg, so you're not pushing out into your belly, into your back. 2, we're gonna hold this one 5 seconds at the top. 5, 4, 3, higher. 2, 1, and then switch. Nice. Other side. Try to get that ankle straight out in line with the hip. And lifting for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6. Good. Same thing. Pull that belly button in nice and tight. 4, 3. Even the chin is pulling in. Good head alignment. One more. Hold at the top. 5, 4. Higher. 3, 2, 1. And then relax the leg all the way down. Okay. Turning onto your hands and knees. We're going to have the knees exactly under the hips. You can even use your reflection in the screen to see your angles if that helps you. So that the wrists are right under the shoulders, at shoulder width apart. Knees are under the hip bones. So, and then lean a little bit forward and a little bit backward. See if you can find the middle point where there's just as much weight on your hands as there is on the knees. Belly button pulls up to support the lower back. We're going to lean just enough to get your right knee off the ground. Bending at the knee, keep the knee bent, kick the heel of your foot straight up as high as it'll go without changing the shape in your lower back. So if the lower back arches, you've gone too high, or you're not engaging enough through the abs. Now bring the knee as far forward as you can without rounding your back. So the heel goes up, and then the knee comes forward. So it's full range of motion for the femur without changing the hip, without moving the pelvis at all. So lock your pelvis in place. This is not like a one-legged cat-cow where you're arching your back and then rounding your back. The exact opposite. No movement there at all. So by just moving the leg bone, then the glute muscle has to do all the work. Cha-ching. That's what we want. Because the body is really smart, and most of the day when we're not really thinking about it, the body is trying to avoid using this muscle. So we're just locking it down, putting it in the spotlight, getting it so strong that it can't refuse to work for us all the time. One more, holding at the bottom, but still no body weight on the knee. Now we're going to open the knee to the side and bring it back in. So, you know, it's such a crude comparison, but it's like dog at the fire hydrant. You lift the leg, minus the squirt. 8, 7, 6. Good. Now you start to realize that it's the leg that's on the ground that's doing a lot of the work. 4, 3. Still trying not to move or tilt the pelvis. 1, and finally sit back for a quick little stretch. Bring your arms forward. Okay, other side. Same starting position. Other leg goes up. Kick from the heel, and then bring the knee forward. So the heel of your foot stays basically the same distance from your glutes the whole time. You're not straightening the knee at any point. And every time you're pushing the heel of your foot to the sky, give the glute on that side a good squeeze also. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding at the bottom and then lifting the knee to the side so the inner thigh faces the ground. 9. Just lift the knee as high as you can without tilting the pelvis. So try to keep both sides of the hip bones as close to the floor equally. It's tempting to twist to get higher. But we just want to lift as high as we can using the glute, the outer glute muscles. 3, 2, 1. And then sit back for a quick little stretch. Oh yeah, that'll do the trick. Okay, so same muscle target, but we're gonna lie on our back. So from on our back, lifting up into a hip bridge, but the bridge is really important to get the alignment. So starting off, make sure your ankles are just straight down under your knees or even further out. Lift your hips all the way up. If you're not sure, you can even tuck your shoulder blades underneath you a little bit more. And then take a quick look at your knees. If they're any wider apart than your hip bones, then squeeze your inner thighs just enough to bring them into alignment to counteract whatever pulling might be going on from your tight quads, perhaps. And keep the same distance between your knees. You're going to hold the arms over your chest. Slowly, from one vertebrae at a time from the middle back, bring the hips down, but without putting all of your weight on the floor. Come back up. So going down, up, down, up. We're trying to keep the exact same distance between the knees the whole time at hip width apart. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. Now heel toe your feet out twice. So you've got wide legs with your toes turned out. Same thing again. Tuck the tailbone under going down, pushing the heels come up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. This is one you don't want to do in front of the window at the gym. 2, 1. Holding at the top. Heel toe your feet all the way together until your feet are touching. Hips stay high. Extend one foot towards the ceiling. So you're on one leg. If this doesn't feel good in your lower back today, go back to 2 legs. Slowly lower down and up for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6. Make sure the standing knee still rolling, not rolling in, but like staying in alignment with the hip bone. 3, 2, 1. Keep the hips high. Slowly switch legs. And down and up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and all the way down. You can bring both knees in for a quick little stretch, little hip roll. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know if this is good news or bad news, but we're going back over onto hands and knees. Let's just not think about it. We're going straight into it. Bend the knee. Good. And then kick the foot. 10, 9, 8. Go to your happy place. 7, 6. Good. Making sure there's no movement in that lower back. So even making it a smaller kick if you need to. 3, 2, 1. Holding at the bottom and lift the knee to the side. Even the ankle, so the knee and the ankle are lifting at the same height. Try not to lean over at all. So it's better to make it a smaller movement and use the right muscles than just to kind of lean and not really do anything, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side, bending the knee heel to the ceiling. 10. Right. Even check in with your head position. So the chin pulls up into the neck, pushing out through the crown of the head, down the shoulders. 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding at the bottom, then lift the knee to the side. 10, 9, 8. Quiet any hip movement there. Good. Elbow creases are facing each other on the inside. You have hyper flexible elbow joints. Those turn in a little bit instead of forward. 2, 1. Up. Turn over one more time. Bridge. All the way back. Okay. Feet are parallel, hip width apart. Wrists above the shoulders. Roll up. And down and up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Really emphasize the squeeze at the top. 3, 2, 1. Heel toe the feet twice. 1, 2. Leave the toes on the outside. This time, just for variety, you can bring your arms out and sort of hover above the floor, down and up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Hold at the top. Heel toe your feet all the way together. Bring your arms overhead. Tuck the tailbone under, extend one foot up. Here we go. Last 10, 9 on this leg. 7. Oh, that's 8. Now it's 7, 6, 5, 4, I can count. 2, 1. Hold at the top while you switch. A little extra challenge there. Ankle under the knee. Here we go. Last 10, 9. Driving the heel to the ceiling, kicking into the bottom heel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees all the way in for a little hug stretch. And to relax the lower back again. This is good. This is really good. Okay, so Turning onto your side again. Coming all the way around. From your side, this time we're going to come right down until the armpit is on the floor. So you're just supporting your head with your hand. And then bend your bottom knee pretty high up towards your chest. That's going to be your anchor point. And you can kick the ankle out a little bit behind the knee on the bottom leg. The top, or this top leg, we're going to flex at the foot and internally rotate the femur so the toes are kind of diving down towards the floor and the heel of the foot is towards the ceiling as much as you possibly can. Pull the abdomen in, belly button toward your lower back. Kind of flatten the lower back, or just, you're actually not changing it. You're just sort of stabilizing it. That's the word I'm looking for. Lift the heel of your foot as high as you can without changing the shape in your lower back, and then bring the toe back to the floor. So right now the ankle is just straight out across from the hip. 7, 6, trying to keep all 5 toes turning down towards the floor. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. Pull the heel as far behind you as you can, again without affecting your upper body. And then bring the foot as far forward in front of you on the floor as you can without affecting the upper body. So you pull back and up, squeeze the glute, dive forward and down with the toes. Back and up with the heel, forward and down with the toes. My leg is on fire already. I seriously hope you're feeling this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, other side. So I can explain why I find this to be so difficult, and I just want you to know. But the stronger your big powerhouse muscles are, because they bully the little ones, the little stabilizers, which are the ones doing these funny little movements that are so good for sculpting, shaping, and also just overall health and stability of the joints. Here we go with that straight leg while I'm telling my story. So if you're like me and you're finding these to be very challenging, it's not you. It just means you're so strong that the little ones, just, they just don't get all that much extra use because the big ones are always doing it all. Does that sound better? 2, 1 more, hold here. Okay, now bring the toes forward as far as you can and down, and then back and up and squeeze. Forward and down, back and up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, like ultimate fitness is when we can do all of this stuff and everything's integrated. So it's good to take time to really focus on these little ones. And for people that just do these type of workouts all the time, which I would call like the Jane Fonda workouts, of course, they cry and scream doing like heavy deadlifting and squatting and chin-ups and all that kind of stuff. So you don't want to be stuck in any one category. But I'll tell you, I do find this to be really challenging. 2 more. 1 more. Excellent. Okay, turn over on your back. And we're going to cross the legs high above the knees. So imagine you're on a bar stool in a mini skirt. You're crossing nice and tight. Flex at the ankles. Do a little sit-up, reaching for your feet or your shins, whatever you can reach, and then try to get your head and shoulders back on the floor. If it's too tight, you might need to stay up in a little bit of a crunch. That's okay. As long as you're feeling that hip stretch, outer hip stretch. And switch legs. I've got really good news. We're on to the stretches now. Yay! Flexing at the feet, grab the heels, pull. And so even try to get the chin down on the neck here the best that you can. Back of the neck toward the floor. And then uncross the legs, one knee bent, foot on the floor. Extend the other foot up. See if you can take your two peace fingers in between the big and the second toe with your thumb wrapped around. And then kick the heel of that foot as high as you need to feel a stretch in the back of the thigh. Hamstring, calf, so you're kind of pulling the toes down to your nose. Try to make sure that you're not pressing your lower back into the floor. So having the other knee bent helps with that. Okay, same hand on the leg. Tilt your bottom knee out to the side. Just let the knee drop open to the side, and then take the straight leg across. So we're getting a little bit of that inner thigh, hip adductor stretching, kicking out through the heel still. Good, and then bring the leg in, cross it over the knee. Do a little sit up, grabbing the thigh and pulling it in towards your chest. Try to bend the elbows and pull a little bit extra hard. And then switch to the other knee, bends, foot to the ground. Two peace fingers in between your big and second toe. Kick the heel up towards the ceiling. Flex the toes down to your nose, pull with the arm. Then relax your knee out to the side. Keep this, the upper leg as straight as you can, bring it out to the side. Looking for that inner thigh stretch, hip adductor stretch on the other leg. Kick out through the heel, kick away from you. You can bring the leg back in and then place the other ankle on the opposite knee. And using your arms to bring that thigh in nice and strong also. Okay, one more stretch for the legs. Turn over on your front. And we're going to reach to the right arm back for the right foot quad stretch. So pulling the heel of your foot as close as you can towards your hips. Then push both hip bones forward into the floor. And at the same time, kicking your foot into your hand, pulling your hand into your foot. And then switch sides, left arm to left foot. Try to have your knees as close together as you're comfortable having them. Pull the heel straight in towards your hips. Push your hips forward into the floor. Kick your foot into your hand. And release the foot. Okay, bring your hands under your shoulders. Come up on your hands and knees. And bring your feet underneath you. Come up on your feet. Let's just make sure the legs are still working. Good work on Sculpt legs today.